Hello, everyone. Welcome to Matchday, Match Week 1 of our Championship predictions. We are a new Championship channel. Obviously, both of us support Championship teams. And shall we get into it, Liam?
Hello, I'm Liam.
So, any opening thoughts before we get on with our prediction?
Yes, I'd just like to say this competition is not friendly. I am going to win. If I don't win, I will be mad, but I don't need to worry about that.
So you all might be wondering, what competition is Liam on about? Well, here is our competition. We will be doing a point scoring system. We will get 3 points for the correct scoreline. So if, say, Liam predicts 2-1, and it did finish 2-1, he will get 3 points. 1 point for the correct outcome. So if Liam predicts 3-2, and it finished 3-1, he will get 1 point. And there is 5 points if we both correctly predict the top goal scorer of the match week. So we will be calculating this over the season. Any thoughts from you, Liam, about the scoring?
Yes, you mentioning the goal scorer of the match week thing. I best check my player isn't injured.
So, Liam, do you want to go first with Birmingham and Ipswich?
Oh God, you've given me the blockbuster. um, it's one of those, isn't it? It's a top of the table clash after the first. Is on the first night. It's a tough one to call. I think so tough that I'm going to cop out here, and I'm going to say 1-1. Birmingham very, 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 very strong at home last season. Ipswich very, very, very strong last time we were in the Championship. So I've gone for 1-1.
Yeah, I expect Birmingham to come up and immediately challenge for top 6. Top 2, I don't know about top 2 per se, but if they keep having the window that they are having, I think they will definitely be in the playoffs minimum. Ipswich, they have the players, but they had a poor season last season. I mean, looking at Luton last season, obviously Ipswich came up even faster than them. So there's that sense of danger that they could perhaps underachieve. I'm not saying they're going to be relegated like Luton, but there could be some nerves to do with that. But I think they'll be okay. I think they'll be definitely top 6. So the prediction, I'm gonna have to agree with Liam here, 1-1.
Good
So
start.
we've both gone for the same score in the first one. Shall we move on to Charlton Watford?
We shall, and it's you to go first.
Okay. So Charlton, nearly promoted team from League One. Second after the season underneath Nathan Jones. Did really well. Winning the playoffs, of course. Watford, they were average last season, in my opinion. Tom Cleverley did all right, but once again with Watford, another manager is sacked. So it's difficult to say with Watford. Charlton, I've been impressed with their window. They are definitely serious, just like Birmingham and Wrexham, and they do have the potential to have a really good season. And I'm personally backing them to win 2-0.
We're on a similar wavelength. I haven't gone 2-0, but yeah, you don't know what Watford's going to show up ever, no matter what season it is. Even when they were in the Premier League, you don't know which Watford would turn up. Yeah, as you said, Charlton doing their business, and they're doing it quite nice.
Yeah.
I think if this was a few years ago, this fixture, it would be a Watford battering all day long. So to think Charlton are going to come out on top is a little bit surprising, but their home form, they built on it. And that was why they finished so highly in League One last season. I'm going 1-0 to Charlton Athletic.
So yeah, we've both predicted a Charlton win for that one. Liam, can you get us started on Coventry Hull?
Well, let's get started on Hull, shall we? Not as much of a mess as another club down the line, but they're in a bit of a state right now. They don't know what's in for them in the future. I think they'll probably be down there. I struggle to see them escaping, if anything. But let's see if this embargo gets lifted at all. I don't know when the outcome is due to be revealed. However, probably not in time for Saturday, and I don't see anything but a strong Coventry win. I've gone for 3-0 to Coventry.
I think with Hull, they're hard to predict, in my opinion. Like, Hull in the Championship are up and down like a yo-yo. Like, one season they could be 7th or something like that, and the next season they could just survive. It's difficult to entirely pinpoint where Hull are going to finish. With the transfer embargo, I could see them struggling, but I also could see them surviving as well. I don't think their situation is as catastrophic as another team.
I wonder who
I
that would
think
be.
they will. Yeah, I think everybody will know, but hey ho. I do think Hull are still capable of getting good results. I can't ignore their away form last season. They got points from many places. Bramall Lane is one that I can think of, where they won 3-0. They were pretty impressive. They got so many points away last season. But with Coventry, second half of the season, they were, I think, one of the best teams in terms of form in the league. I think they won like 7 or 8 games in a row under Frank Lampard. One of the best teams in the league at home as well. But considering both of them, I've gone for a Coventry 3-1 win.
Not much to split us right now, is there?
Yeah.
Well, I think this next one might do it.
Okay. Southampton, Wrexham. Obviously, Wrexham, they got all the Hollywood money, and they're going up through the leagues pretty fast. It's difficult to say where Wrexham will finish in the Championship. They could just survive, or they could do really well. It's difficult to entirely pinpoint with Wrexham. I mean, I think they will definitely. I think in recent weeks they have started to splash the cash a little bit, and I expect them to continue doing that. In terms of Southampton, they're off the back of a really poor Premier League season, one of the worst. And how are they going to translate that into this season? Will Southampton sort this out, or will they be on a Southampton slump? Considering both, Wrexham are new to the Championship, inexperienced at this level. Southampton, on the other hand, quite experienced on this level, but that means nothing. But all things considered, I've got a Southampton 2-0 win.
I take back my comment about this one splitting us. I'm just going to reveal it now. I've said the exact same score, 2-0 to Southampton. I don't necessarily think Wrexham will be out of the game. I just think I'm not keen on Wrexham's defence for the Championship this season. I can't say I'm keen on the striker they've just signed like yesterday, well, Tuesday this week as of recording. Southampton, you don't know. You don't know if they're going to be right up there or just about top 6. I expect them to be top 6, top 7, top 8, but I don't expect them to necessarily walk the league. They're certainly going to be scoring goals this season. Wrexham probably scoring and leaking similar amounts of goals over the course of 46 games. But for this one, I have gone the same thing. I've gone 2-0.
Yep, another one where we're pretty close. So hopefully the next game we will have a different prediction.
Well, I'm hoping so. I think I've gone something completely different to you, at least. I've gone a bit risky here. I'm not too keen on Middlesbrough's chances at the moment. Rob Edwards, not a bad manager at all, but he's not going to get off to a very quick start, I don't think. But then you can look at Swansea. You've recently appointed their former interim manager, Alan Sheehan, and they're in brilliant form towards the end of the season. However, will that continue into the new season? I don't know. I don't think they'll be in trouble. I don't think they'll be up there. But I do think they'll come away with a win. I've gone 2-1 away win.
There's just a certain buzz around Swansea, isn't there? Obviously, Luka Modric becoming, I think it's like, is it minority owner? Same with Snoop Dogg. Obviously, there's the whole hype around that. Middlesbrough, I agree with Rob Edwards. I think there's a lot of expectation at Middlesbrough to do well. Obviously, quite often Middlesbrough are expected to be up there, and I think the expectation will remain. I don't see Middlesbrough accepting anything less than the top half. With Swansea, as you mentioned, the form last season towards the back end was really good, and Middlesbrough has the knack to drop points at home to teams lower down the league. I have also gone for a Swansea win. 1-0 to Swansea.
At least the scoreline's different.
Yeah. So, I shall get us started on Norwich Millwall. Last season, Norwich was quite disappointing, weren't they? Bottom half of the table. And 4 up, I think, got sacked at the end of the season. So, obviously, there was a bit of instability at Norwich at the back end of last season. Now they've got Liam Manning. I think he could turn out to be good. But it depends if he stays with Norwich in the long run. Norwich, they have the knack to score quite a lot of goals at home. I think last season they were still one of the league's highest scorers, despite the fact they finished 13th, I think. So, to keep up that goal-scoring consistency is a good sign for Norwich. They just need to sort out their defence. Millwall, on the other hand, also had a very good season last season. I think they finished 7th, correct me if I'm wrong.
I think 8th, I want to say. I'm not
7th.
entirely sure.
They just missed out on the playoffs and got many good results against some of the sides that are up there. Millwall were decent at home. It's a difficult one to call this. I think there will be a lot of goals in this, so I've gone for a 3-2 prediction to Norwich.
I think Millwall will be up there. I don't think Norwich will be far behind. I think come end of the season they'll be very much right next to each other somewhere. How high up the table I don't know, but I don't expect either of them to be near that middle. I expect them to be above that. Norwich, free scorers, aren't they? No matter where they go, home, away, anywhere, they're known for their goals. They still currently have Josh Sargent. I said Josh wrong, so forgive me for that. I don't know if he'll be staying. I don't know if he will be going, but at the moment he's still a Norwich City player, and I can see him scoring at least one of the 2 goals I have Norwich to score. As for Millwall, I've also gone for them to score 2 goals at Carrow Road.
Oh. So you got a Desmond.
I've got a Desmond 2-2.
Oh, there you go. I think that's the first time me and Liam has disagreed on an outcome.
Don't think it'll be the last.
Okay. So, Liam, get us started. Oxford v Portsmouth.
It's the 2 teams that, 2 of the 3 teams that went up from League One, not last season, season before. Oxford, I want to say relied on their home form, but they were a bit all over the shop last season. Pompey certainly not relying on their away form. Come the end of the season, they picked up a couple of away victories, but their home form is where Pompey excelled in. and I think that's what Oxford will do this season. I think they'll be just about okay, just about safe. And I think Oxford will definitely be a lot better at home than uh, than people will expect them to be. Uh, doesn't just because they have three stands at their stadium doesn't mean they can't generate an atmosphere. Now, personally, I've never experienced that atmosphere myself, but I've seen them on the TV. When they get going, their fans very, very much behind their team. I think they'll get behind their team for a 1-0 home victory.
I think this one will go either way. Yeah, points to note. Obviously, you've mentioned Oxford really good home form. Portsmouth really bad away form. But in this very fixture last season, it was a 2-0 win for Portsmouth, defying the odds. Um, yeah, Portsmouth and Oxford are two teams which I think are difficult to predict this season. Both kind of like defied the odds last season in terms of budget. Both were, I think, they were the bottom two in terms of the budget, and they finished 16th and 17th respectively. So that was a good season for them. But will they continue to punch above their financial weight? I think this game could be a factor to who will do well and who could potentially struggle. Now, this could go either way, and it's very difficult to predict this. I'm gonna I'm gonna disagree with you. I'm gonna go for 2-1 away win. Now, shall we get on to QPR
I
Preston?
don't think we're going to disagree with this one.
So, QPR at Loftus Road. They were alright at times. They got some results. Preston, disappointing last season. I think QPR finished 15th, Preston finished 20th. Towards the back end of the season, Preston's form just absolutely nosedived. QPR was all over the place. It looked like they were going to get relegated. They looked like they were going to get playoffs, and then they ended up 15th. So it's really difficult to predict this one. What like how QPR will do and how Preston will do, but I can imagine both will be in their mid-table mix. Um, Preston, obviously they've got a few new signings through the door, and I feel like they could potentially go back to where they were beforehand, where they were like mid-table, like 12th, 13th kind of area, but they could also go down. Um, so for this one, at Loftus Road, I've gone for a 0-0.
So, the way I look at it with QPR, one or two times a season, they can smash 4 or 5 goals past any team. You saw it with Leeds a couple of seasons ago. Um, it doesn't matter who the opponent is, how good or bad they're in form they are. They at home they have the ability to absolutely annihilate anybody, and um, I think it could be the case on Saturday. However, you know what Preston are like at the beginning of every season. They seem to draw their way to 13th and then either stay there the rest of the season or just absolutely plummet down the table. Preston, as you said, massive, massive amount of signings. At the beginning of the window, sort of tailed off a little bit. So I don't know how many signings they're expecting from here till the end of the window. I don't necessarily think QPR will be in danger, despite having a new manager, and whatever Cifuentes has built won't really be sort of there anymore, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
New manager, new era, if you like, at Loftus Road, and I just don't see it getting off to the perfect start, but I don't see a world where Preston win in this match. But I've also gone for a ball draw 0-0.
So we've gone for exactly the same.
Who would have thought?
So please start disagreeing with me, because all but two we have agreed on in terms of outcome.
I think this could be one of them. it's me to start. So with Stoke and Derby, both teams very, very, very active in the transfer window. Stoke, one of the more active clubs, I think. One of the most active clubs, I should say. I think the same with Derby. Um, Derby have made a lot of free signings, but a couple of big money signings. You know, your Carlton Morris, your Patrick Adjiman. Stoke have lost Berger. I think they still have. Do they still have Manhuff?
I think so.
They could potentially lose Johansson. I saw something yesterday linking him away from Stoke. If they lose him, their season could very well be a different outcome to what I think it could be at the moment. But I don't think there's too much to split the two sides, who will be both be very ambitious for the upcoming season. I've gone 1-1.
Okay. Yeah, I think Derby have been very impressive in the transfer window. I think it's a very ambitious window for them. Not too sure about the fee for Adjimang though, but apart from that, I think I've been very impressed with Derby's window. Everyone's tipping them for dark horses, and I can definitely see some merit behind that. Um, whether they start off on the front foot, I don't know yet, because there's a lot of gelling to do. I think it may be a little while before Derby start clicking into gear. But once they click into gear, they will get quite a few wins and rise up the table. For this one, I'm going to go 2-2. Also a draw. So, West Brom Blackburn now. Immediately I'm going to talk about Blackburn. I think Blackburn is a very, very difficult one, because Blackburn's also one with a dodgy owner, isn't he?
Venky's.
Yeah, the Venkies. I saw, I think it was a couple of months ago. I know it's not like the men's side, but the women's team got completely I think it got what was it?
Funding stopped.
Yeah, the funding stopped. I couldn't find the words.
Discontinued.
So the funding stopped. Yeah, got discontinued. And I think that is a telltale sign of what could be to come for Blackburn, unfortunately. Blackburn, against the odds last season, in my opinion, had quite a good season, finishing in top half. Everyone last season predicted them to be in the bottom half. I think it's going to be another season predicting them to be in the bottom half, and I think I'm going to agree with it this time around. I think I just can't see past their ownership problems. West Brom, I think they've always been a steady Eddie, haven't they? They've always been a steady Eddie in the top half of the table. I think they always finish 8th or something like that. Never really get close to promotion, but they're always in the mid-table, never near any danger. And I think this is going to be another season of them being up there. At the Hawthorns last season, West Brom did quite well. They had the capability of smacking teams. 5-1 against Portsmouth comes to my mind immediately. And I think they definitely have the capability to do similar annihilations at the Hawthorns this season. Blackburn, though, they do have the potential to get good away victories. They did well considering the circumstances. Blackburn tend to do quite well when their backs are against the wall, but I have gone for a West Brom 3-1 win.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Blackburn, incredible season really when you look at it. Last time out, a game away from the playoffs, especially when you lost your manager come February. I'm not saying Ismail isn't up for the job, but I don't know what he can do with his resources. Good manager, yes. Good timing, that's the question for me. They've lost a lot of their players, haven't replaced all of them. They've lost a few of them in the last 2 weeks, and then lost others, towards the beginning of the window. It's just never ending. You don't know who's going to go next. You don't know when anyone's going to go next. And with West Brom, how will Ryan Mason fare this season? I don't know how to make of West Brom's season upcoming. I don't know what to think. They could be top six, surprise a few people, or they could be slap bang in the middle of the table. I don't think they'll struggle. I do think they'll win against Blackburn Rovers, but I don't think they'll start the season with a win and then continue to win after game after game. So I do have them winning. I have them winning 2-1, but I worry for big games with no due disrespect to Blackburn.
That's fair enough. Uh, I believe you've got Sheffield United, Bristol City.
It's a tough one. I don't necessarily think Bristol City are in a better position than they finished the season in. I like that managerial appointment of Struber. It worked wonders at Barnsley, really, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Well, helped build a good foundation there at least for Barnsley's standards. Will he do it at Bristol City? Will he keep them pushing for the playoffs? I don't think so, because there are just so many more teams who will be aiming for that top six positioning come May. And I think it's just such an open league this time round. You know, you have your Leicesters, your Ipswich, your Southamptons, you even have your Birminghams now. You could argue your Wrexhams or your Norwiches, but only two of them I can see running away with it, and even then I don't see any of those two reaching 100 points. Well, definitely not both of them, if that. And you just worry for Sheffield United at that point, because look at how many clubs are going to push for that top six this season. With Sellers in charge, I think he's an excellent manager. I think he's very well proved he's capable. I don't know if his experience is enough to guide Sheffield United to where they want to be, which is the Premier League. I don't. I think they'll finish in the playoffs, Sheffield United. I don't think they'll have as joyful a season this time round. But you never know with the Championship, ridiculous league, and I think it's going to be a nearly as ridiculous result as it was in both playoff legs. Sheffield United 2, Bristol City 0 is what I've gone for.
Yeah, I mean, with Sheffield United, I think they'll definitely be up there. Last season was quite unlucky to not go up. I think they were winning in the playoff final, and Sunderland came back to win 2-1.
Yes, and they did score a second goal to make it 2-0, but the VAR
Yes.
said no.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, so Sheffield United was a VAR decision away from the Premier League. Obviously had that disappointing season in the Premier League the season before, but that's not relevant now. Sheffield United, I mean, haven't they been like kind of tight on money considering they're challenging for the Premier League?
I think they've made a few signings. I don't know how much money they've spent, but I think they've made a good few.
But I think it's like with Birmingham, Wrexham, and all that coming up, obviously Ipswich as well. I fail to see Sheffield United being in the top two, in my opinion. Now, in terms of this game, obviously Bristol City as well. I think it was an exceptional season for them last season, but you've also got to consider the playoffs was very low. The tide was very low for the playoffs last season, one of the lowest. I think it was like 68 points or something Bristol City got. Normally, that would get you like 8th, 7th at best. So they did have a good season, but the tide was very low for the playoffs. Do I think they'll have a similarly good season? I also don't think so. I think they could easily be in the top half, probably top 10. But whether, but I don't. I see like the likes of Birmingham, potentially Wrexham, leapfrogging them. Um, Bristol City definitely has the capability to be back in the mid-table mix. Now, in terms of this game, I've gone for a Sheffield United 2-1 win.
It makes you think with Bristol City, was last season the peak for them? Will they just drop off now for seasons to come? Will they build on it? Uh, will they look back in a couple of years and think, right, we can do this again? Or will they look back in a couple of years and think, that was our chance, now we're struggling to stay in the Championship?
Another thing of note about Bristol City is that they lost Liam Manning. I mean, their club, was built around Liam Manning, wasn't it? During their good season last season. Now he's gone. How will the club fare? Obviously, a lot of the players are Manning's players. How will they adapt to Struber's formations? I think it remains to be seen, in my opinion. Right. It's me with Leicester, Sheffield Wednesday, isn't it? So Leicester had a disappointing season in the Premier League last season. Came down in 18th, I believe. Not good. Obviously, the likes of Vardy is gone. And Vardy was a massively influential player for Leicester. And it's going to be a massive, massive hole to fill for any striker coming into Leicester. There'll be huge expectations on the new striker. But with Sheffield Wednesday, what a mess. What a mess. I've just seen post after post about Sheffield Wednesday. It's a shame. And hopefully that Chancery sells up soon so that Sheffield Wednesday fans can have their club back. And I wish Sheffield Wednesday fans all the best. Obviously, I support a club that's been through that. Nearly went to extinction. And I know how that feels. It's sad news. It's really sad news. And honestly, the EFL really, really need to sort out these owners. Because it just seems like new stories come up every single year. It's really infuriating. Like as well with Morecambe, I know they're not Championship, but it just shows how flawed the EFL is. Now, back to this. A lot of Sheffield Wednesday players are leaving or not playing because of them not being paid. I did see Barry Bannon signed a new contract. So that's some good news for Sheffield Wednesday, but it's not Barry Bannon FC, is it? I mean, there's a whole 11. But it's good that the Sheffield Wednesday 11 has Barry Bannon around to help them. Now, they go to the King Power Stadium, and unfortunately, Sheffield Wednesday fans, I don't see a world where you win. I've gone Leicester 4, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
Yeah, just to touch on Leicester, I've seen a lot of people expecting them to finish top 3. I don't see that happening in a million years. I'm not even saying that if they have a points deduction, I just think their squad is a lot weaker this time round. They came down, strong squad, sold James Maddison for God knows how much, and used that money effectively, and in the ways they needed. I don't think the story of success will necessarily be there. I don't see why playoffs can't be possible, but I don't see them anywhere near that top 2, quite frankly. Sheffield Wednesday, I don't see them anywhere near 23rd. I think they're just an absolute shoe-in for League One football next season. There's no explanation needed for that. And maybe they could score a goal at Leicester, but if they do, I'll be very, very shocked if they get a result out of that. I don't have them to score. I have not as hefty a scoreline as you have for that one, but I have Leicester City to win by 3 goals to 0.
Obviously, hope Sheffield Wednesday can sort out the ownership situation as soon as possible. Sheffield Wednesday are a good club, and hopefully they will get their club back. Um, so yeah, I think it's all but two. We have agreed on the outcome. So we are not going to have wildly different scores, are we?
You'd think. Now it depends if either of us get a good few results bang on. Um,
Yes.
Obviously, if QPR and Southampton, those results are as we predicted, then we'll have 6 points each already.
Yep.
I'm interested to see how other results look, and I'm also interested to see how many points Sheffield Wednesday will have come what May. So that'll be an interesting one. They could still be deducted points by then. Let's say Chansiri somehow puts them into administration, and I say somehow because I don't know if he's that stupid. But we'll see. We'll see how long we're talking about Chansiri for the foreseeable future.
And another one, Leicester could. There's murmurs of Leicester getting a points deduction as well. See, I don't know if there's any substance to that.
As of recording, I don't know what's going to happen or when they're going to come to a decision, but I don't think anything's been announced just yet. But it's looking like 9 points, which they can overcome. It's not quite 30 or 21 or 15. It's certainly doable, and you'd think Leicester would have the quality in their squad to overcome 9 points.
Yeah, I think with Leicester, I think they're easily. If the points deductions are low, I think they'll definitely be around the top six at least. But if the points deductions are high, that could have implications. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we finish?
So
Yeah.
I'm going to. I would like to tell you that my scorer of the weekend is in fact a Leicester City player. I've gone for Steffi Mavididi to score the most goals over match week 1.
Yes. And for me, I have gone with a Coventry player, and I've chosen Jack Rodoni. Jack Rodoni did quite well in the Championship last season, and I tip him to continue that goal-scoring form. And with Mavididi, obviously he was a Premier League player. He could easily do a very good job in the Championship.
On his game, I think he's a very, very good player. And I think Leicester need to build their squad around him because he will absolutely flourish if they do so.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, Leicester still has quite a few Championship, well, talented, I should say, players. And I think with Leicester, it's difficult to predict. But I think they'll definitely be around the top six. I believe that is everything, Liam. So, thank you all for watching. We will do further reviews of our results and our match week 2 predictions next week.